Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Apex and F1 podcast. I'm here today, joined by my co-host, Josh. How are you today?
I'm doing really good. I'm glad to get Formula One back in the weekend schedule. So I've been trying to fill my time with other things, but now we finally get back to some good racing. So I'm really excited for this weekend.
Absolutely. And Paul, how are you rocking your new Plus 44 merch I see?
You like it? It is pretty cool. I like it.
I love it.
Only took 6 weeks to get, but hey, either way, I am excited to be here. This summer break seemed like it dragged on forever. The fact that nothing was happening in the headlines just made it that much more tougher.
Agreed. Well, and the fact that we had actually like 2 summer breaks, I think made it feel even longer. Like we'd already had 1 3-week break and then we had another. So I felt like it was double punishment this year. Like this calendar, when it came out, I was excited about it. And then it just felt very, very, very long. But I'm sure the drivers appreciated it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they all really needed the break, especially
Lewis, most importantly Lewis. But I gotta say, I think the driver who I was like the most excited to see about like their content on summer break was Max. Like Max in his dad era on his family trip, like posting pics with the fam and the new baby. I absolutely loved it. So it seems like they had a really good time, and drivers always post about really enjoying the break and needing the time off. But I thought it was really cool to see Max in super dad mode over the break.
Yeah, absolutely. You know that once he takes that helmet off and is off that car, he's just a big old softy and just a big old girl dad. So it was just definitely nice to see that picture and just kind of warmed your heart a little, because when he's on track, he's kind of a dick. So it's just nice to know that he's a little human outside of that tough persona that he puts out there.
No doubt. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say at the same time, though, I'm sure as much as he enjoyed his time off, if there's any race that he really looks forward to, he's just dying to get back in front of his home crowd, because you know the Dutch fans just love him over there. And every time you look at those grandstands, just covered in orange for him. So I'm sure as much as he's enjoyed spending time with his new family, you know, his new child, I'm sure he's at some point he's ready to get back in the competitive mindset, and especially do it in front of his home crowd. So we'll see.
No doubt. They even changed the trains in the Amsterdam station heading out to Zandvoort. They change all the trains, and it says like, I can't remember exactly what it says, but it's like the Max Mobile. It's like something like that, where they change all of the trains to be the Max named. Like all the trains that are heading out of Amsterdam Central Station out to Zandvoort are all named about like Max or Verstappen. And I remember being like, what a cool thing. You know, it's your home race and every driver deserves to be revered at their home race. But what a cool thing for literally the transportation and logistics to all change the name for that weekend, and everything's about you. It's so cool.
Tell me you're a big deal without telling me you're a big deal.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
It was so fun being there, though. I was really interested to see what Zandvoort was going to be like, because my parents are Max fans, but I was not. And so like going out, I didn't want to wear any team merch. I just wore a Danny Rick shirt that was like the Daniel Ricciardo Eras Tour t-shirt. And like people liked that. Nobody gave me crap, but I was really nervous about wearing another team's merch because I was really worried that Max fans were going to be so intense. The Dutch people are the nicest people. They were so wonderful. It was such a fantastic fan experience. It also rained like crazy the year that we went, and there were like only 2 covered pavilions. So it was really nice that everybody was just hanging out under these tables. All the fans become one fan base because everybody's just trying to stay dry. But the Dutch people were amazing. All the Max fans were wonderful. So it was a super cool environment. So no doubt he'll be ready to go back to that.
Also, how can you hate somebody wearing a Danny Rick shirt? That's like the Switzerland of fan gear. It's like,
Yeah.
I can't be mad at you. It's Danny Rick. He's just a lovable guy.
I'm dying. That is iconic. The Switzerland of fan gear. It's so true, though. Like, everybody loved Danny Rick.
Yeah, no one can get mad at that. Like, I'm going to punch you in the face. It's Danny Rick. It's like, well, I get it. We're cool.
Well, guys, let's jump right in, because, Paul, you said it was like a boring break, no news. But we did get breaking news yesterday. Cadillac F1 finally announced their driver lineup. And the last time we met and recorded an episode, literally we said, okay, summer break, what are our take 2 predictions? Josh, yours was Cadillac lineup. Paul, yours was Checo. Mine was also Cadillac lineup. And we got exactly what we wished for. Paul, I will come to you first. What are your thoughts on the announcement?
Listen, all the summer break, would wake up early and go straight into Twitter and to just see if there was any breaking news. And the one freaking day that I decided to sleep in because I decided I was just going to be lazy, the group chat blows up. My phone is blowing up. I was like, holy crap. But super pumped. I know there was rumors that they were going to wait till Hungary to bring out this breaking news, but I'm just glad we finally got out of the way now. All the rumors are true. All the speculation is true. We finally got Bottas and Checo back in the grid for next year. I couldn't be more ecstatic. I couldn't be more pumped about this, and now my credit card is going to take a hit trying to get some more Cadillac gear or just buying Cadillac gear in general.
Yeah. Josh, what are your thoughts?
I think it was a long time coming. I think we had been wishing for it for a while. Obviously, it seemed like every time we did a prediction on what we thought was about to happen, it was all three of us were like, oh, well, surely Cadillac's going to do their lineup at some point. And we've been saying it for what feels like 6 months now. So it was like a long time coming. It felt like we kind of were like just verifying what we already knew in a way. I wasn't necessarily surprised by either pick. It was just like, it's a very safe, obvious choice for the new team. I think part of me would have loved to see a rookie in there, but at the same time, both of those guys are very strong, competitive drivers and have both been performing very highly on teams in the past. I think that's a great driver lineup. I don't think either of them are going to cause problems with each other, which is probably maybe one of the more important things for a brand new team to have is the less drama, the better. Let's focus on the technical and much less on our drivers bickering or whatever in the background. So it's a safe choice, a very strong choice. And as obviously that's going to be my American team, be a big Cadillac fan next year. So I am excited to see both those guys in maybe a black and gold car. I don't know what color it's going to be, but we'll see. I'm excited.
I really hope for a black and gold car too, but I think with Tommy Hilfiger being such a huge sponsor for them, we could see some of like the navies, the whites, the reds be on
Red,
there
white,
too.
and blue.
Like yeah,
American
like
go
I mean,
just
especially
full
with
on
the
America.
American team, like I think they could really lean into it. And like we've seen Haas do it on some liveries, especially for like Coda and stuff like that. So I am super excited. I think I've said it before on the pod with you guys. Like I had to have this come to Jesus moment with myself about understanding where my disdain for Checo came from because I was number one Checo hater. And anytime Checo wrecked during a race or something, I was like, yeah, Checo. But I think, the last year not having him on the grid gave me the time to analyze. It was never about Checo. It was always about Danny. I just wanted Danny to be in that second Red Bull seat. It had nothing to do with Checo, and not having Checo on the grid this year and not like for the first time since I became an F1 fan, not seeing Red Bull have a second driver that was actively competing and really contributing to that team collaboration and environment made me realize what Checo really does add as a driver to a team. And I think it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic between the two of them of who Cadillac is going to have kind of be the lead driver because they're both super experienced, but they've always both had to play number two to another driver. And I think both of them will want to really prove themselves in testing this season and really in the development of the car. 2026, new regulations, new car for everybody. So it kind of levels the playing field. I could not imagine a better time for Cadillac to be entering the grid, and I could not imagine a better lineup. I did at one point really see an opportunity for Schumacher just because of how well he's done with Alpine, with endurance racing. So it does make me wonder, is there an entrance now that, Checo was being pursued by Alpine too? So it does make me wonder if Alpine will pursue Schumacher a little bit more seriously in consideration for an F1 seat for 2026. But I'm super pumped. I told y'all I've been stocking up on Cadillac. I've been stocking up on Hilfiger. I saw somebody post online about just like, hey, if you're wanting to get into the Cadillac F1 merch ahead of that stuff going on sale, to look into the Cadillac racing merch right now that is already out. Obviously, Cadillac F1 is going to put out some incredible merch, but somebody was saying, hey, you can go stock up on Cadillac racing stuff right now from other series too. And I thought that was a great tip, especially towards the end of the endurance racing season. We know there will be a lot of merch sales too. So if you're going to be a Cadillac F1 fan next year, start stocking up now. And pro tip, Hilfiger is everywhere at thrift stores.
How do you think Haas feels with all this? Seemingly, they've been our American team for years, and now Cadillac is here, and everybody's shifting to an American team, Cadillac. Haas must just feel like, hey guys, what about us? We're just sitting back here in the background.
I don't know. Haas is while they lean on the American thing occasionally when it's convenient for them to do so, it's really more just management and ownership that really is American. They have a small headquarters in, I think, Virginia or North Carolina, one of the two.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. But it's not like they're building F1 cars and shipping them across the pond, right? Their main facilities are all overseas in Europe. Most, if not all, of their high-level technical guys are all European. So while it's nice to say, like, oh, there is an American-owned team in F1 currently, I think having a team that has not only the full backing, but also a very strong root in America with both facilities as well as staff, it has a different feel to it. It feels much more distinctly American as opposed to just, the name of the team happens to be the guy that is an, American national. So I don't really think Haas is going to really think too much about that, to be honest.
So is Cadillac going to be made in the U.S. or is it just a U.S.-based company that's making the car UK?
So both. They're going to have a large facility they've already got a large facility in Silverstone, but they're also using the facilities here in the States. In Indianapolis, I believe, as a very
They're
strong
also
testing ground.
I saw on social media, they have a massive new facility that they've been building specifically for Cadillac F1 that is stateside. I can't remember where it is, but the exterior, they took over an old building that was an old racing team's, and it's a beautiful building, and they're completely redoing it. So they do plan to have a lot of their stuff here as well. But I'm with Josh. I think Haas does lean into the American thing when it's convenient for them. I love Haas, always will root for Haas and cheer for them. But I have to say that I am far more excited to be a Cadillac fan than a Haas fan because of their history of their racing, the staff lineup, and everything. It really does feel like we will have a true American F1 team on the grid. I think it's very clear with the way they're marketing it, the staff they're recruiting. So I agree with Josh on that one.
So my question would have to be the logistics of it is where is the car mainly going to be built? And does that fall into the cost cap of having to ship parts from the US over the pond into UK? Because I can imagine that's a logistics nightmare to get all that figured out.
Well, we're already at the point where a lot of races on the calendar are not in Europe, right? It's a good almost 50-50 mix of European races versus flyaway races. So while, yes, there is a little bit more logistics to go into it, but every team is facing that as well. Every single team is having
on the development side of things, like the factory where they go back to make these parts to develop the car, is that going to be on the U.S. side of things or is that going to be on the European side of things?
Well, it's going to be a good mix of both.
Does that fall into the cost cap of things? That would be my question. I don't know if we're ever going to seemingly get an answer to that because they don't really open the books, but it's just an interesting talking point.
Well, it's the only teams that are really excluded from that issue are the manufacturers, the full manufacturers, right? You got your Ferrari. I'm missing another one. Ferrari, Mercedes, whoever's making their own engines, and Red Bull now, because they are making all of their own equipment and stuff in-house. Every other customer team is already dealing with that issue of having to ship all of their components as far as, power units, gearboxes, all of that stuff has to be shipped from the manufacturer to the customer team. So in a way, yes, they may have to ship more parts from the United States over to Europe, but having a base in Silverstone already, they can have a stockpile in both locations and really maybe even do better off than some other teams that are hamstrung in, maybe just one location. Alpine has bases in both France and England. So it's not like teams are stuck only in one place. Like Ferrari obviously is just very concentrated in one location, but most teams have several hubs, I guess, to develop and store parts. So I don't think it's any different than any other team.
I don't either, but I did make a note so that we could do a little homework and do some recon to see if we find out confirmation, little chat GPT discovery homework lesson here. So I think that'll be a good one to follow up on. But I mean, they're not the first team on the grid, like you said, that's got multiple headquarters, multiple bases. It'll just be interesting with the American component being thrown in there too.
Yeah, and I really hope they really lean into the US-based team a lot more than Haas has, like we've talked about that. But let me guys ask you this before we move on to something else. The big talking point is two veteran drivers. Would you guys have been happier had it been rookies, seemingly bringing somebody up from F2? Because I've seen that talking point a lot in some content creators, how they're saying that they're not giving rookies a chance, they're just going to the old vets. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I have two trains of thought. Number one, this is a huge financial investment. And the first time the grid has had 11 teams, you have a proof point and you have a financial commitment to recover because not only do they have to pay the FIA, they also have to pay the other teams to be a part of this. And so your financial front loading, you have to get an ROI from that. And I think it's smarter for them to start off their time on the grid with two very established drivers that have shown what they can achieve. They've both won constructors championships, and I think that it's very important, right? They both have, right? Did Valtteri and Lewis win constructors together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was like, wait, am I crazy now? Yeah, they both won constructors championships with their teams. They both had a track record of what they can contribute. So I think this was the smart financial investment, but they are also not. I mean, like, this is an experienced team of people that are recruiting these drivers. There is no way that they're not going to have a driver development program and have other people in the pipeline that they bring along. I'm interested to see who they select as a reserve driver. I'm interested to see who they bring in the pipeline as an academy, of people that they want to bring up. Like, you sent the thing about Colton Herta and the article about F2. I could see a world in which they try to start pulling IndyCar drivers over into the Formula One world, maybe through testing like Pato does in Mexico for McLaren, like things like that. I could see them seeing what experienced drivers in other racing series could do well in Formula cars. I could also see them looking down into the F2s, the F3s, much like Toto does. But we've also seen some rookie situations play out very, very poorly this season. I mean, we've seen it happen with Jack. We see what's happening with Franco Colapinto. We saw it with Liam Lawson. Like, there is so much pressure to deliver in Formula One that I think Cadillac is making a very smart move by putting two very proven veterans. And then I think the thing to keep an eye on will be looking at who they're developing in that reserve driver and in that pipeline to develop. What about you, Josh? What are your thoughts?
I think this driver lineup sends a message that Cadillac is not here to just be on the grid and just like, oh, look, there's an American car on the grid. They've made selections that are very strong. Those are both very strong drivers. They're both race winners. They're both drivers who were in competitive cars that had chances to beat the number one driver and did on many occasions, right? We had years where Valtteri was challenging Lewis for the Drivers' Championship. So it's not as if these guys were just midfield drivers that had been maybe a point every now and then guys. These are guys that were more times than not number two in both driver standings and in their team. So this message of picking these two guys says, we're picking two veterans because we want to come here and we want to challenge immediately. We believe we're going to have a car and we want to have drivers in that car that can challenge the field right off the gate. If they had come in and picked, a midfield driver and a rookie, I think the message would have been, we're going to see how it goes for a year or two and just kind of feel it out and without making it too big of a commitment. But it seems like they're going in guns blazing. Both of those guys are also not guys. I kind of thought about that as well. So they've got a lifespan on how long they're going to be left in the sport or want to be in the sport. And I think that gives the opportunity in the future for them to bring in a good reserve driver and really have them train up under them. Under two very good drivers and do some FP1 sessions, do a lot of testing, do a lot of tire testing for Pirelli, and get a lot of experience in the new cars for this regulation cycle. And then when either Checo or Valtteri decide to retire, there's somebody right there waiting in their wings that can step into that spot and carry on. So I think it's a great move for a brand new team coming out of the gate and looking to try to score some points and make some money.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, both of those drivers have 200 plus race starts under their belts. I mean, you can't, short of bringing somebody in like Lewis or Max, this is the best option that was available on the market with the wealth of knowledge and understanding. And then a team that's seemingly still trying to develop the car and trying to see where they can get. Let me ask one last question. What do you think their actual expectation for next year is? I mean, we don't know. This is just speculation. It'll be interesting to see what happens in January and February during testing. Do you see that car actually competing for something productive, or you think they would just be happy if they were just in the midfield?
I think they're going to be top 5.
Because they have a Ferrari engine, right?
There. With the track record that Cadillac has in racing, with Andretti on that board, with Checo, with Bottas. I mean, like, think about what we've seen Stake accomplishing with Nico and Gabby Bortoleto this season. These last few races have been insane. Never in a million years did we think we would get that out of a Stake Sauber F1 team, right? Like, I would think that with Valtteri and Checo, we're going to see them competing at a high level. I mean, for sure outperforming, Nico and Gabby, for sure. I for sure see them outperforming Williams even. And Williams had a strong start to the season and is trending upwards. But I just think with how much money that's going into this, with it being a level playing field for everybody with these cars for 2026 with new regs, I think they're going to come out of the gate hotter than we think.
They're using a Ferrari power unit, right?
Yes, for the first 2 years until
Okay.
27, and then they're going to have their own. So my thought is very similar to Meredith's. I think that Cadillac's going to come out of the gate very hot. Like, this is not like just some manufacturer. It's not like, Mazda all of a sudden decided to make Formula One cars, right? This is a very long-standing manufacturer in many other motorsport categories, and they're definitely throwing a lot of money into it. I think that they're going to be competitive for a different reason. I think that they've had a lot longer to devote to single-mindedly build a 2026 regulations car. Every other team on the
No
every other team
distraction
on the
of a
grid,
2025 car.
right, exactly. While most other teams are trying to, at this point, still try to get their 25 car to do anything, to make points, to do any small upgrades they can without breaking their budgets. They're trying to, make money this year. Cadillac doesn't care about 2025. They only care about 2026. So they're able to devote every one of their staff, and they're, obviously got a full team committed to the 2026 car. They will probably have more hours in development than any other team. And 26 is a crapshoot anyway. We don't know what teams are going to do well and what teams aren't. We could see Red Bull fall off and be back of the grid, and Williams could have pulled a mastery and be top. So I think it's a level playing field.
That.
We have no idea. The whole field could completely shift. So I love it. But I think that Cadillac is going to be very competitive just because of the time that they've been able to devote to this car versus worrying about this season that they're not involved in.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. They can solely just focus on this car and not the 25 car. So, yeah.
Well, speaking of the 25 car, we're halfway through the season now. So let's just kind of do a quick whip around of what are your thoughts on the first half of the season? What's one thing that's really shocked you in a good way? And maybe what's one thing that's kind of been a bit of a bummer for you that you are maybe disappointed by that you didn't expect? Paul, I'll come to you first for that one.
I think the three of us can agree that the biggest disappointment has been Ferrari. I think they seemingly came in with such hype. What? I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this one. But for me, okay, the two of us can agree that I think Ferrari, to me, is the biggest disappointment. I thought they would do better than they are. But to me, the biggest surprise is just how much exciting this fight between the two McLarens has been. You truly don't really know what's going to happen week after week. You just know it's going to be one of those two guys. And the fact that they've still kept it respectful and clean in the cameras, we don't know what happens when those cameras get turned off. But seemingly when the cameras are turned on, they're fighting fair, and it's been a lot of fun.
Josh, what are your thoughts?
All right, so I'll start off with the positive. I've enjoyed the drivers' fight, right, between the McLarens, but that wasn't necessarily my surprise. I don't think that was, I think I kind of expected that, and because I expected it, it doesn't really blow me away. I think my biggest surprise has been how close every single of the midfield to the Formula A cars have been. It's been very tight as we've seen it in a very long time. So that's been my biggest surprise is teams like, Williams and Haas being able to, even Kick Sauber, being able to really compete and do very well. My biggest negative, or the thing that I am surprised by the most on the other end of the spectrum, has been Alpine as an entire team. The disaster of Alpine's driver lineup, the disaster of Pierre Gasly being a complete waste of space over there and just losing all his career and pretty much
fighting words.
Hey, he's sitting over there in a car in a car that can't drive.
You just got back from Disney. You should be happy. This dude chose violence today.
I just think that is
on earth by ass.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this. Alpine has just blown
I'm
up.
just seeing Josh on a roller
Mickey
coaster
Mouse
at
and I'm
Disney.
just gonna fight.
Just thinking about Alpine on these roller coasters at Disney.
Well, because I think back to what we talked about after Brazil last year, and I sat here and said that I was so excited to see what they could do next year, being 2025, because it seemed like they were trending in the right direction, and then we were excited that they were getting the driver lineup they did at the beginning. We thought that Jack would get a fair shake and that we were going to see another good rookie. Nope, removed him extremely early, put Franco in the car. Franco's career has just been a disaster now since he's been over there. We don't know what's going on with Flavio. The team just seems like a wreck. They shut down their engine department. They're no longer going to be building power units in the next, for the 2026 regulation cycle, which people had said that might have been a stronger motor than we had expected. Just all in all, it just seems like that's kind of fallen off the face of the planet. Now, we go from a double podium in Brazil last year, and then it seems like 9 months, 10 months later, here we are. They're worse than they were at the beginning of 24. So that would be my biggest negative as far as things that I didn't expect to happen in the first half of this year.
I see that. I definitely do see that. I think I would say that I kind of have like two pleasant surprises. Number one is like obviously being a McLaren fan, like I am shocked by the McLaren dominance. Like it is so fun to watch. I enjoy it. I know non-McLaren fans, like I get why a non-McLaren fan would be like, okay, I'm sick of this, but I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed, just like you, Paul, I've loved watching Lando and Oscar battle it out. It's been a lot of fun. But also I've really, really loved to see like people have had their chance to shine this season. Like Gabby Bortoletto, Nico Hulkenberg, like the little things like that, like Kimi Antonelli getting on a podium, like lap records being set at tracks. Like I just feel like it's been really fun to watch when we've had this era for the last several years of Max dominating so many races. It's been really fun to see so many other drivers on the grid shine, whether it's at the top or in the midfield, just excelling consistently. Like that excellence has been fun to watch. I think for me, the thing that I've been the most disappointed in this season is the situation with Carlos Sainz at Williams. I was really optimistic. I was really hopeful. Alex Albon has had some things cooking for him. They made a lot of progress last year, especially when they put Colapinto in the car for the rest of the season. I even made a video last year on TikTok that I got a lot of blowback for, that I said, I think Alex Albon should be worried for his seat next year because of how Colapinto was performing. So I was really optimistic for Carlos Sainz going to Williams to be in that second seat. It's kind of like, at what point in the season are they going to stop focusing on 25 and just start focusing on 26? But it's been hard to watch because like watching Carlos's light go out a little bit has been such a bummer, because he was achieving and doing things so well at Ferrari. And I hated that he left Ferrari. Hate what's happening with Lewis right now. Hate what's happening with Carlos Sainz. So I really, really hope that Williams can finish the second half of the season really strong, and that Carlos Sainz, sweet baby angel, gets the appreciation he deserves, and that they really give him a car he can compete with. I know that with Williams' performance so far this season, hopefully they'll get a little bit more funding, more sponsors, things like that, to be able to put more money in the car to give Carlos something to compete with moving forward. But that's been my bummer. So looking forward to second half, maybe like general, what is maybe your call out, or what you're looking forward to, or something you think that could be shocking going into the second half of the season? And Josh, I'll come to you first on that one.
I think the obvious choice is the McLaren drivers fight, right? I think we expect fireworks eventually, and I think that we'd be dumb not to think that they're coming. We've seen it before. As much as they want to play nice on camera, it's going to come to a head. And the further we get into the season and the closer we are to the trophies being handed out, and the closer those two drivers are together in the point standings, it's going to get nasty. Whether it be simple as disobeying team orders or simple as, on track incidents. So I think it's coming eventually. It's going to come to a head sooner than later. So I think that's gonna be my biggest thing I'm looking forward to.
Paul, what about you?
I hate to just take the cop-out answer, but I think I'd have to agree with Josh. I think it's really going to have to come down to one of those two teams. I definitely predict there's going to be a couple DNFs from both of those drivers. I have a feeling they'll take each other out going into it, because it's going to get tighter. Things are going to get a lot more serious. And I just don't see how that's not the obvious answer.
I have a hot take on mine. I think if things don't change for Lewis and Ferrari in the second half of the season, and things continue and his mental health continues the way it is, I think we could see Lewis Hamilton retire. I think he could say, I don't need this. I am the greatest driver of all time. I am the most accomplished driver of all time. I'm at a point in my life where I can take a step back from this and focus on other things that add value to my life and don't make me feel this way. So I think if things don't change with Ferrari, I could see Lewis Hamilton making the decision to retire. So
I think we have that conversation this time next year. I think he's going to wait till the 26 car comes out and a fresh, clean start, and hopefully he's been very vocal about the fact that he's gone back to the factory and he's dropped off documents and research on all these things. I think he's going to give them a fair shot next year. But I wouldn't be surprised.
6 months ago, I would have never predicted me even saying those words, but the way he has spoken about himself, especially that last race where he's like, it's clearly not the car, it's clearly me. I'm the issue. When he starts internalizing Ferrari's issues as his own and a reflection of his own performance, that to me is a different Lewis than I've ever seen. And that is the only reason why I could say, like, hey, 6 months ago, I never would have thought these words would leave my mouth. If this continues through the rest of the season, I could foresee him, if he is not in a better place and continues to internalize that, that's why I could see it happening. So it's just my shocker,
See,
hot prediction there.
seemingly, it seems like Ferrari has broken Lewis, but at the same time, if we look at it from 30,000 feet in the air view, did we expect anything less? Josh has been saying, hang on though, Josh has been saying this time and time again. Ferrari will always Ferrari. It'd be like trying to go to the Dallas Cowboys and trying to change their organization, or the New York Yankees.
Yeah, but Ferrari didn't break Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz said, I owned that and I won race and I'm out, like, so I think that it's like, Ferrari didn't break Carlos Sainz, so I think
but I think
he's also in a different place in his career, though.
True, but I think when you're so used to one organization being Mercedes for so long and how that worked, going somewhere else, you think you're going to come in with some sort of preconceived notion and some of your customs, and it's completely not that. And it seems to be one of those things you have to drink the Ferrari Kool-Aid in order to be successful here. And if you don't drink it, it's a you problem. And I don't know. I think he regrets that move more than Carlos Sainz regrets the move to Williams.
Carlos didn't want to leave Ferrari. He was forced to. Like, he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to part ways. I mean, I really appreciated that interview they did with him where he said, like, they said, do you think that they regret it now? And Carlos is like, it hurt at the time, but like, I get it. If you have the chance to get Lewis Hamilton, of course you will. Like, I'm happy with their decision. Of course, I was sad to leave, but I'm happy for them. And I wish the best for Lewis and I wish the best for me. I thought that was handled very well, but I hope it doesn't happen. But if that's just my prediction, if Ferrari continues on this pathway.
Josh, what do you think about all that?
I think that if I hadn't have seen, if you had showed me just 2025 and I had never watched any Formula One before, I would be like, oh my God, that guy hates his job. Like, he needs to just go ahead and retire. If he's that miserable, he needs to go find somewhere else. But the problem is I saw 2024. And because I saw 2024 and I saw how Lewis was towards the end, he was the exact same way. It's almost just that he internalizes a lot of this on himself, and that's fine. But I just don't quite understand the projecting it out as like this, like, woe is me, self-pity kind of attitude, especially from somebody who has in his rest of his career been kind of like the strong competitive type. So
yeah, that's why I'm saying I think it's just like, I think he's in a different place in his career.
Yeah, and I would say that has nothing to do with Ferrari. To me, this seems like Lewis is finally realizing that maybe things just aren't moving as quick in his mind as they used to. He's not seeing it as well. He doesn't react as quickly. He's just not physically handling it as well as he once would. So I don't wonder if maybe he thought, well, it's just the car, it's just Mercedes. Maybe I need a clean break, get something different. Maybe it'll come back to me. Maybe it's just this car. I don't like this regulation cycle, whatever. And now maybe he's saying, okay, well, dang, I've got a completely different car, completely different setup, different team, and it's still not falling into place for me. So I just think that maybe he's realizing that he's not going to be 18, 19, 20 years old anymore. He's in his 40s. It's just not going to happen for him. He's had that realization maybe, and that's why he's feeling the way he is. So that's my take. I don't necessarily think it's Ferrari, right? I think that there obviously was a learning curve with the car and the factory and everything else, but we've seen Lewis put in some decent performances over the last few weeks, just not to his standard. And I think he expects more of himself. Not to say that he's doing poorly, but he just expects himself to be doing better. And when he's not reaching his own expectations, I see him just getting very down on himself. And instead of, maybe he doesn't feel like he has a way to do better, or he thinks that's all he's got, and he's just projecting that out in the media, which I hate. I wish he wouldn't do that as much. I wish he would, at least put on a good face for us. But he's been a little bit more active on social media this summer break. He's been posting a little bit more of his like usual, like kind of self-confident kind of stuff. So it gives me hope that maybe he's stepped back and found a little bit. So we'll see.
Maybe so. Well, December will tell.
Yeah. Right.
Age kind of gets all of us, unless your name is Fernando Alonso, who seems to be getting better with age.
He's a rookie. What are you talking about? Fernando's a rookie.
Yeah. Fernando, the rookie.
He's a rookie.
Well, we'll check back in, 6 months down the road. Well, not even 6 months, 4 months down the road towards the end of the season. And we'll see if our predictions there came to fruition. But let's shift to the immediate future. Let's shift to Zandvoort this weekend. We are finally back on track. I am so excited. I know that, like, as we were all looking and waiting for the calendars to come out and the discussion about Zandvoort and was it gonna fall off and all that having gone there, it's fantastic. And Josh, I would love for you to just give us a little recap on the track and just some general information. But I'm super happy we're back. I'm super happy we've got Zandvoort right now. But yeah, tell us a little bit about the trash, Josh.
Yeah,
Trash,
the trash.
Josh, the
Yeah,
trash. Tell us about the trash.
real quick about it, since we can get on to our predictions and everything else. It is a different circuit to what we're used to seeing. It's very close to the sea, which is different
It's
as
literally
far, yeah, it's
on the ocean.
on the ocean. So that brings into play a whole host of issues as like weather and wind and sand. Even the sand itself gets blown onto the track, causing issues with grip. It's a very, I don't know how to say, it has a lot of undulation. It's very banky. There's a lot of very big banks. The best thing I could tell you is to go look up. McLaren last year did a gyro cam on the car as like a onboard, and to see the way the car banks, and it's just completely different than anything else like we've
This
got.
is how close it is. That's us walking into the race. That's the sea behind us. So it's like when Josh says it's by the sea, you literally have to walk on the seawall to get into the gates.
Yeah, and so anytime that there's any, and obviously we've all been to the ocean, so there's a lot of wind that goes on, a lot of weather gets blown off of the ocean. So anytime that it picks up, there can be issues with braking. There's headwinds, tailwinds, there's directional winds. So the drivers have a lot of changing conditions that they're dealing with, even during the race, even if it's not raining, which we have rain on the forecast for Friday and Saturday. So possible wet quali with a dry race on Sundays is definitely in the cards. And that's just going to be a very interesting dynamic to add to what is a already very interesting track as far as grip issues across the board. So,
Hi, puppy.
Yeah, I know.
I will say, out of all the tracks in the simulator, this one is the one I hate the most. It's just I can never get the hang of it. It's super tricky.
It's tricky.
I really hate this course on the simulator. So hey,
we need to drive it this week, but it's a tricky one. And Paul, you had a fun fact about the pit speed. You want to drop some knowledge on us?
They are upping the pit limit speed from 60 kilometers per hour to 80. So I guess all tracks are 80, but for some reason Zandvoort was 60. So now they decided to move it up to 80 to spice things up, I assume.
I cannot think of anything else right now besides the Logan Sargent meme that says, "What the F is a kilometer?" and it's got the eagles screeching.
And he's jumping out of his car that's burning.
Kilometers per hour? What does that even mean? Give me miles per hour for my American Cadillac ass over here.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just thought that was a fun fact. I think everybody's going to be eager to get back out on track. I think it's going to be fun. Let's do some predictions for this weekend. And Josh, I believe you were in the lead, but Paul had come in hot. Let me go back to it.
Yeah, I think we might be all tied.
Yeah, we are all tied, but since you had been the one in the lead for a while, we'll start with you, Josh, first. Yeah, I think we're all tied.
All right, we
did all get a point for our summer prediction coming true, just so we're clear. So we'll start with you, Josh.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and a shocker prediction.
1, 2, 3. Oscar Lando Max. I think Max is gonna break his little podium drought here. He likes this track. It's in front of his home fans. No time like the present. Might as well get one under his belt. Oscar and Lando. It's 50-50. Do you take one or the other? I just think Oscar has a little bit more on this track than Lando here. My shocker prediction, I'm going to take Mercedes both in the top 8.
Oh, wow.
That's very specific.
Well, they do very well in the dry and they do very well in cooler conditions, which is going to be a little cooler and it's going to be wet. I think that Kimi and George have both been kind of quiet this off a couple weeks, probably because they're working hard and trying to get themselves ready. I think Mercedes is.
I did see something about George, but George participated in some auto whatever. I don't remember what exactly it was, but I saw that. And they spent some good time on the yacht, him and Carmen did.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he did. Mercedes did a EV, electric vehicle, did a nonstop. They did, basically the distance was, they drove around the world by kilometer distance in 24 hours.
Helps me.
So he drove a few stints in that. I didn't see how
Very
many.
Cool.
But yeah, doing a little something on the side. So that's my predictions.
I feel like your Merc roots are coming back out a little bit, It's
I always like Mercedes.
It's like the pilot never goes out, but the flame is just low. I see it in you.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, what predictions do you have for us?
All right. I got Lando, Oscar, and George, P1, P2, P3. And then I got Max does not get a top 5. I finish.
Oof. Max not in top 5. We can barely hear you. So Max
sorry.
Top
I got
5.
I got Lando, Oscar, and George.
Okay.
P1, P2, P3, and Max does not get a top 5 finish.
Okay.
I know.
We're going to be fighting because I have Max winning it.
Oh,
I think
snap.
Daddy took his summer break. He got time with the fam. He got Kelly on a yacht for weeks with Penelope and baby Lily. And I think Max is ready to come out with a bang. I think he's missed his home race. And I think he, good summer break, back to it, ready to prove a point, ready to start the second half of the season strong. And then I've got Oscar and Lando. I agree, Josh, coin toss between Oscar and Lando, but I do feel like Oscar's going to do a little bit better with this type of climate. And I have Haas in the points. So
Nice.
it could be either. I would love for it to be Ollie. I think Ollie's had some really strong drives lately, but I think one of the Haas's is going to get in the points for sure. Esteban Ocon looked like he had a really great summer break too, so he could come back recharge. Do y'all follow his YouTube, Esteban Ocon's YouTube? He puts out great YouTube videos, and I saw the thing earlier that his summer break video is out on his YouTube channel, and I was like, I'm excited to go watch that tonight.
I didn't know he had a YouTube channel.
Yeah. It's a good one. I feel like he's one of the few that does really well. Like, he's not as big on social media stuff. Like, a lot of other drivers are huge on social media, and his is just really more YouTube stuff. And I kind of like it. I kind of dig it. Well, it was a long summer break. I know we all took some time off. I had some work stuff. I watched a lot of MotoGP. There's a girl on TikTok, Bethany Holland, who had popped up on my For You page, and she was really great about recommending some MotoGP resources and where to watch. They used to stream it on Max, but I just watched it through YouTube TV. We started watching at Austria was the first one I watched. And then we watched Hungary, which was a new track for MotoGP. And the Marquez brothers and what they're doing in MotoGP is amazing. Marquez is just insane. So it's been a lot of fun to watch. I picked MotoGP because of her and because Joe's really wanted to get into MotoGP. So it's like a perfect thing. So that'll be my thing I learn about in 2026. But that was kind of how I spent my summer break. What about you guys? Paul, what did you kind of do with your summer break? Anything fun? Dog toy?
Did we just lose a toy?
Well, that thing has been dead for a long time.
All right. Oh, hang on. R.I.P. to that toy.
Is it a lammy?
It is a lammy. Well, it was a lammy.
A lammy leg.
Yeah.
It was a lammy.
It was a lammy.
R.I.P. to lammy.
Yeah.
The
Paul,
lammy never lasts long.
what'd you do with your summer break?
Just hung out. I'm back to school now, so just trying to get everything going with that. Already stressing out on week 1, so that's been fun. Yeah, so you kind of put us onto MotoGP, and I gave it a shot. And I watched a couple races. It was a lot of fun. It was really, still not knowing who to follow and what's going on. That Marquez brother is seemingly winning everything. That dude is out of control.
God, you'd hate to be the other brother on the grid.
Yeah.
I mean, but they competed. Like, it was super cool watching them battle it out for the sprint race in Austria, too. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, the Marquez brothers, so cool.
But what I found so interesting is how close that field is. They're all within milliseconds of each other. And I was like, holy crap, this is interesting. And just how incredible. Seemingly, they're just laying on the ground when they're going through those turns. And I was like, dude, why would anyone put themselves through this? And when they launched themselves. What is it that the race last weekend, the bike ended up hitting one of the camera. I was like, dude, this is a death sentence, but good for you guys.
So badass though. Josh, what had you spend your summer break? I know you went to Disney, but what'd you do on your summer break?
Yeah, I went to Disney with the nieces, enjoyed that quite a bit. I do enjoy it. Had good weather, had a good time, so that was fun. I did watch some of the MotoGP stuff. I've been trying to watch some of the IMSA stuff as well, so I've just been trying to dabble as much as I could that time allows. So
yeah. Well,
and
awesome.
I know Josh is a big soccer guy, so Premier League is back, so I'm sure he's been
That's right.
diving into that.
Your soccer.
Yep, so Premier League started back. Paul, you'll be happy. Your team, for some reason, is tied for the top with Arsenal, so that's ridiculous,
I saw that.
But whatever.
Listen, I'm a Tottenham Spurs fan, and Josh is an Arsenal fan.
We love a rivalry.
We are rivals, and it's funny because I didn't pick my team till Josh and I took a trip earlier this year, and we got talking about it. And I said, Josh, I need a team to follow, and he told me whatever I pick, as long as I don't pick Tottenham. And here I go, I picked Tottenham. So Josh and I are just rivals.
Yeah. Mortal enemies now.
It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good time. The season can end now. I don't think Tottenham's going to do any better than this. So here we are.
Yeah, 2 games, 2 wins. Yeah, it's probably about it for you guys. It's
hey,
it's a
and
long way down.
You guys stole our transfer guy.
That guy said that he would never go to Tottenham. He always wanted to go to
Yeah,
Arsenal. Yeah, whatever.
and then you guys just opened up the bag of money and said, "Here, we'll give you tons more money." And he's like, "Okay."
Got to spend money to
Well,
make
speaking
money.
of tons of money, Paul, you are going to be spending tons of money this weekend because I know that you have spent your off season, not off season, your summer break also watching a ton of IndyCar. So why don't you do a little IndyCar recap for us, a little bit about like IndyCar updates and talk to us about your weekend coming up in Nashville.
Yeah. So this on Sunday they were in Milwaukee, it's an oval track, and honestly,
A
I'm kind of
short
more
oval, isn't it? Is
very
it?
short. I'm
Yeah.
kind of more into the oval tracks when it comes to IndyCar. There seems to be a lot more action and a lot more overtaking. So I've really enjoyed that. Connor Daly seems to dominate the first part of first part of the race. He does so well, but he just cannot sustain success. I'm really hoping he can win one. Christian Rasmussen won his first race in IndyCar.
Our
Came out
Danish
of
king. I'm
nowhere.
so excited.
He came out of nowhere. He started ninth, and he was just towards the midfield the whole race, and out of nowhere, those last 30 laps were just insane. He won his first race.
I also just love the relationship at Ed Carpenter Racing. They all, as a team, seem to really love each other. Like him and Alex Rossi and their relationship. And it was like the hug after, like Alex Rossi ran to get to Christian to give him a hug. And that hug, they're genuinely so happy to be celebrating. Like that is a dream team dynamic. I would imagine that Ed Carpenter is like, I've locked it in. Like this is incredible. This is the first of many. What an awesome win.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was just nice to see. And Alex doesn't beat the record, so screw him. I like him, but I didn't want him to beat the record. Also, I felt really bad for Will Power. He just cannot seem to get it figured out in ovals. That whole team has just not had good success this year.
No, and you know how I feel about willpower. So it's like, it's
absolutely.
heartbreaking. I'm like,
I guess when they
I
get caught
need that
cheating,
man on the grid next year.
yeah, the whole team gets caught cheating, and now they're coming down hard on them, and now they can't win anything.
I'm like, it's a curse, and this is not willpower's fault. Get him away from them as quick as possible. Any other team.
I'm really looking forward to see what happens with him in the off season, but super excited for Pato. He secures his second place finish in the standings, so good for him. And yeah, they're in Nashville this weekend. I'll be there with my brother. We got paddock passes, so we'll be walking the grid and hopefully getting some autographs. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to go. Yeah, I can't wait to all the content I put out, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be in section 136, so if anybody that sees this and wants to stop by, say hi, come on over, say hi. I'll be glad. I'll be there to talk to anybody.
And you will have party favors. So
yes,
we have our Apex podcast stickers. It's got our logo. So the Apex logo you see up here and on all our socials. We've got stickers made. Paul will be handing them out at the race. So if you want a free sticker, pop on by. It's that and a QR code with link to our socials and our podcast. So
absolutely,
we'll be handing them out. So we're
also
super
there is a
for you.
concert before the race. So High School Me is losing his mind. The All American Rejects are going to be playing
Tyson
before
Ritter.
the race starts. I was like, oh, well, the emo in me is loving this, and punk rock's super stoked. I truly can't wait. And it's Tennessee, so the weather can be a little miserable, but from everything I've seen, it's going to be a pretty good weather day. It's going to be in the 80s. So like I said, I just can't say it enough. I am pumped to just go out there and see my first race live. And
I can't wait for you to go to Kid Rock's bar. It's my favorite bar. Like, screw all the other bars in Nashville. Kid Rock's bar is my favorite.
But here's the funny part. It says it's a Nashville race, but the race doesn't actually take place in Nashville. It takes place in a town outside of Nashville. And I butcher the name.
Like,
Josh,
same thing with Coda, though. They say it's Austin. It's out in Del Valle. It's not. Not in Austin.
So I'm going to try to make it out to Nashville and go down Broadway and see what that's all about.
You just got to pop by Broadway just for
absolutely,
just for a little bit.
But the thing I'm looking forward to the most is getting my paddock pass and just getting a chance to stand up close and personal to those vehicles, and hopefully I get a chance to get some pictures with some of the drivers. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to
absolutely.
the most.
And like I told you, just like film everything, and then you can always go back and delete it later, because it's like you're so excited in the moment that you like almost black out a little bit. Like when you've got the paddock passes and you get to like be on the grid and see the cars, like I straight up panicked seeing Pato. Like I couldn't, and Joe's like, just ask him for a picture. And I was like, I can't. Same thing with Christian Rasmussen. I was like, I can't.
You see these guys on TV and on your phone all the time. When you're there in front of them, it becomes real. And it's just like, now what do I do?
Like 100%. But it's like, I literally don't even know how I kept it so cool, calm, and collected getting a picture with Will Power. Like, I don't know. He
Yeah.
was the nicest man I've ever met, and it was awesome. But I hope you have a fantastic experience.
Yeah, I'm
The
super pumped.
other
And
IndyCar thing that you sent that I think is super cool, we all love driving on our simulators for IndyCar, right? Like we all have that. We love that. But you sent us a little thing about IndyCar and iRacing having a partnership moving forward in 2026, and that they're officially going to be doing some iRacing stuff.
yeah, so for the first time in decades, IndyCar is coming out with a video game. They're teaming up with iRacing, and you'll be able to get it on your computer, Xbox, Xbox, PlayStation, and it's going to be, they're shooting for middle of 26 is when they're coming out with that video game.
Hopefully
So
right on an F1 summer break when we've got nothing to do.
yeah. So it's super cool. I really love that these motorsports are really buckling down on their video game portion of things, because that e-racing things has blown up. I know NASCAR's come out with a game. It's either already come out or will be coming out this fall. We all know that F1 has their fun game, and now IndyCar is starting to get into it. So that's super awesome. For us that aren't ever going to be real race drivers, we can at least get on the simulator and try to do something productive. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to get that IndyCar game and drive the Indy 500. That'll be fun.
Well, we are so excited to be back. We know you're going to have great coverage at Nashville this weekend. Josh and I will be at home watching races, probably playing a little golf. It's Labor Day weekend here in the States. So grilling, freedom, we love it over here, but we're happy to be back. We'll be watching Zandvoort. So Josh and I will cover stuff for the F1 side of things. Paul, I hope you have the best time in Nashville covering IndyCar stuff. So we'll be all over the map, but we'll be on socials. Podcast will be posted tonight, and then we'll stay up to date on socials throughout the rest of the week. But we're happy to be back. Happy to be back with my boys. Everybody was talking about Taylor Swift news yesterday. I was like, I don't care. I just want to talk Cadillac. I'm ready to talk to Josh and Paul. But happy to be back. Any closing thoughts, guys?
Josh, you can go first.
No, I'm just excited for the weekend. I think Zandvoort's a fun race. I think we'll just be happy to see these guys back on track. So that's all I got.
Even your dog is excited. I'm loving this.
Like Grady over here is so psyched right now. He's all,
what's going on?
Well, we were gone at Disney for the weekend, so the dog was kind of needy right now. He's being very, he wants a lot of physical attention.
I love it.
You have a lot of playing to catch up on.
Yeah, he's letting me know about it.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. I'll be in Nashville. Super stoked for that. The F1 race is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what happens. And yeah, I'm glad to be back, guys. I missed you guys. I missed talking on this microphone. And it's going to be a great...
You missed talking on your microphone.
I missed fucking eating the fucking thing.
Well, we hope you all have a great week, and we'll be on socials. We'll stay in touch. And if you're at the race this weekend in Nashville, go say hi to Paul and get a free sticker. And we'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
See you guys
later.